Work's been quiet today with only a handful of patrons coming in at all. The few still here keep to themselves, quietly reading and browsing the aisles. I'd normally be bored on a day like this. It's a good thing that I have something new to keep me occupied during my downtime. Then. A few of the worksheets and books that Aspen gave me yesterday are spread out on the desk, out of the way of our guests, but still where I can see them. Excuse me. Whenever I get a few minutes to myself, I practice my writing letters or memorizing their sounds. When I have to write down titles that are being checked out, I pay more attention to what exactly I'm writing. I'm pleased to notice that it goes faster now than it did before. I still have a long way to go, but I can feel myself making progress with every word I finish. That sense of pride helps motivate me to keep trying. Even when I'm away from the desk, tidying things up or putting books away, I try to think about letters and words. It's nice to have something to focus on rather than just trying to find ways to fill the hours. Just as I settle back down to work after a quick lunch, Juliet comes down from her room with a folded parasol in hand. With a calm nod of greeting, she walks up and joins me behind the desk.
Hey, you're up early.
I woke up my cat.
Yes, I had some daylight errands to attend to. How are you doing, Mia?
Great. Check it out.
I show her one of my worksheets, which was really just a blank piece of paper on it. I've written my name over and over to practice. The first few, most of them, are fairly messy. I think I get the hang of it by the end of the page though, and those ones are more legible. I offer the paper to Juliet, who looks it over with a smile.
Great job! I'm very proud of you.
She's like a kid.
Thanks. I'm proud of me too. What kind of errands are you running? Need any help?
Not this time. I'm just making a couple deliveries that can't wait until the evening. Will you be alright here by yourself?
Yep. I think I've got the hang of everything by now.
I'm pretty used to handling my duties on my own. If there ever was a problem, it wouldn't be hard to go find Juliet to get her help. That hasn't happened yet, thankfully.
Excellent. I know I've said it before, but you've been a great help around the library. I appreciate your hard work.
Oh, it's not that hard. Besides, it gives me something to do.
That's nice to hear. Don't forget to take some time for yourself, and have fun every now and then, though.
I think that's some advice that Juliet herself should follow more often, but I keep that opinion to myself.
I will. Actually, I'm going to the museum after this.
We are?
Aspen told me there's an exhibit all about Korea
right.
going on there. So, I'm hoping maybe I'll learn something useful.
Useful?
Yeah, like about my person.
Oh, I see.
Juliet gives me the same small smile that Aspen did when I mentioned my person yesterday. I know they think it's probably hopeless, but I can't give up. I don't understand how they don't understand, since both of them always talk about caring for those close to you and making lasting bonds. Wouldn't the person forget who she is? Still, Aspen and Juliet have both done too much for me to hold that against them.
Well, I wish you the very best of luck. You know you can always ask me for help if you need any.
I know. Thanks.
Anytime. I'm going to head out now, but I'll make sure to come back early enough for you to go to Te Papa.
Sounds good. I'll keep studying and working until then. Bye!
Goodbye, Miho.
Bye! Oh! I like the splash of the umbrella. As Juliet goes out the front door, she pops her parasol open to protect her from the sun, then strolls out and joins the day's crowd. I stare at the now closed door, thinking, I wonder if either Aspen or Juliet have ever felt the same way about someone as I have about my person. It's a hard feeling to describe. It's something warm. I may have forgotten a lot over the years, but I've never forgotten their face or voice, or the way they smelled, like charcoal and paint. All those things are too important to forget. It's kept me going my whole life, been my entire reason for existence. At least until arriving in Wellington anyway. Even with my new life here, I can't just abandon my old one, not entirely. Maybe they just don't know how much it means to me. I couldn't blame them since I've told them all about how little I cared about everything else. Maybe they think it's like a hobby, something to pursue when I have nothing else to do. But even here in the library, surrounded by friends and busying myself with my job, not a day goes by where I don't think of that forest back in Korea and my person. It's okay if Aspen and Juliet don't understand. They don't need to. It's important to me, and that's all that matters. So far, they've supported me in whatever I do. In fact, when I think about those two, I feel a similar way as when I think about my person, that warm, safe feeling. It's not exactly the same, but it's close. I don't think that's a coincidence. There have been lots of new feelings that I don't quite have words for. Like so many other parts of myself, I'm still figuring them out. That may take time, but I have plenty of it. Realizing that I've zoned out, I pull myself away from my thoughts and get back to focusing on work and studying. I may have lots of time, but I need to make sure I use it well. Only an hour or two later, I look up from my work to see Juliet returning from her errands. Folding up her parasol, she joins me at the front desk again.
Hello again, Miho. I tried to hurry back so you'd have plenty of time at the museum. You can go ahead and head off. I can handle the library for the rest of the day.
She really didn't get much sleep at all, huh?
Cool, thanks. I tried to clean up and do as much as I could before you got back.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Enjoy yourself. You'll have to tell me all about it when you get back.
Will do.
I put away my study materials in my room and then with a big thumbs up to Juliet, leave the library.
Fresh air again.
Since I've been spending so much time inside since I started working, my walks and time outside are more refreshing than they used to be. The birds singing sound prettier, the scent of food wafting up from town smells tastier, and I'll bet even the grass would feel softer so if I was in my fox form to feel it. It's been a long time since I've transformed, now that I think about it. Oh, she's gonna lose the ability to transform. I need to stay focused for today, though. With the museum as the only thing on my mind, I picked up my pace as I walk into Wellington, heading along the now familiar streets. I pass by Bell House and glance inside, but I don't see Aspen. She mentioned she'd be working late today, so she must be in the back or maybe on break. I followed the directions she gave me yesterday until I reached the building that has to be my destination. It's big with parts that go off in all different directions. Near the front, there are two sections flanking the entrance. One is round and tan, while the other is made of darker stone and looks more blocky. Is that a fingerprint? It's a bit intimidating, but seeing a few people heading in and out is reassuring. Taking a breath to steady myself, I stride on up. The entrance has a huge glass ceiling with glass doors that slide open when I approach them. I don't even have to pay or sneak in. The moment I step inside, I can safely say that I've never been in a place like this before. It looked big from the outside, but from the inside, it's huge.
How am I gonna find the Korean exhibit?
I don't even know where to look first. Different paths lead to different types of displays, and I can see floors and elevators going all the way to the top. A family walks by me, following a big arrow that points deeper into the building. Without any better ideas, I decide to take the same route. I'm sure I could ask someone where the exhibit is, but I'll look around on my own first. If I can't help it for a while, then I'll ask for help. Or if I can't find it for a while. I start to wander about once inside looking for anything that I might recognize from Korea. To my surprise, there's plenty of other exhibits that also end up catching my eye. In one section, a variety of sea life, fish, turtles, and others hang from wires above everything else. They look so lifelike that I think they're real animals at first, but after staring closely, I can see that they're just models. Another part of the museum is filled with skeletons of what looks like giant monsters. I can't even imagine what kind of creatures they once were. Maybe dragons? Spouting a panel with some illustrations, I skip over for a quick look. They aren't dragons, but they look awfully close. I've only seen a dragon once or twice in my life, but I've never seen one of these. Other sections are dedicated to human and fabled civilizations. There are recreations of old human houses, as well as diagrams showing fairy homes and werewolf dens, plus plenty of others. A tour guide talks to a small group as I walk around explaining this and that. I go slower through this part, feeling a little nostalgic. I even recognize some of the human technology and knickknacks from long ago. I had no idea they were old enough to be part of a museum now. There's even a big memorial to the war, showing humans and fabled fighting against one another. Oh my god. At the front is a painting of when the peace treaty was signed, which was the start of humanity and the fabled coexisting. I was around back then, but I stayed out of it, just like I stayed out of most things. Honestly, the history doesn't interest me too much, but I'm sure Juliet would love to see this. I'm sure she already has at some point. Just when I'm thinking about giving up and asking for help, I finally find what I'm looking for. A large banner with some text that I recognize as Hangul, the Korean writing system, is hanging over a number of display cases and tabletop exhibits. I hurry over to get a closer look. It's quieter up here than it was on some of the lower floors. I'm able to take my time browsing without feeling like I'm getting in anyone's ways. At the same time, my heart starts to beat faster with anticipation. I may not know what I'm searching for, but I'm sure I'll know it when I see it. I start at the entrance and slowly make my way through. The first section is full of pottery and carvings. Like from the brochure Aspen gave me, there are little animals and people carved out of stone and even a few made of metal. A number of clay pots and vases sit on pedestals next to them. Most are cracked or damaged, but some look as good as new. Moving on to the next part, there are a few intricate-looking outfits adorning mannequins. Some are just pants and a jacket, but most are vividly colored dresses that hang to the floor. I can almost feel the delicate silk in my hands. If I was still a thief, I bet those would sell for a lot. Oh god. After the clothes are paintings, tigers and birds are common subjects, but so are people and cities too. Others feature gorgeous landscapes and flowers. I've never been a big fan of art, but somehow these are different. Looking at them doesn't make me sad, but it does make me feel something. Like I'm wanting something I can't have. Suddenly it comes to me, a feeling I've heard about, but that I don't think I've experienced before. Homesickness. Oh. A painting of a green forest could be the one where I was born. I've passed through towns that looked like those in the paintings and hid from humans who looked like the ones shown inside them. Not all the memories are good ones, but they're mine. There's not much that I can relate to nowadays in terms of people or places. I have friends now, sure, but I don't have much in common with them. That's never mattered before, but now. I wish I could reach out and touch the paintings before me, just to feel something from the same era as me. Of course, they're behind ropes, which keep me well back. But I reluctantly start to move on again. Just as I do, a certain painting catches my eye. It's small and displayed out of the way in a corner, as if nobody thought it was that important. The edges are jagged and torn, but the crucial part is still there. On one side, there's a fox surrounded by trees and leaves. Its fur is a different color than mine, but it's still clearly a fox. Just across from it is a human-like figure. She's dressed in an outfit similar to the ones I was just admiring, but that's not what stands out the most to me. On her head are two pointy ears, and several long bushy tails peek out from the bottom of her dress. When I look at the fox again, I notice that it also has more than one tail. I breathe in deeply as if I could inhale the scent of the forest just from this artwork. Another Gumiho? I take it in all the details I can. She's smiling, but a sharp fang makes her smile look sinister. The hand at her side has long claws instead of regular fingernails. Claws that are clearly meant for ripping. Whatever she is looking and smiling at is missing, being part of the torn section. There's just a small part that remains, a pair of boots on the ground, surrounded by the edge of what must be a pool of blood. Only then do I notice the blood around her lips and on the ground beneath her claws. And then the unmistakable bone white bead hanging from a string around her neck. It's glowing like the moon. I instinctively raise a hand to my neck. Feeling my own bead, it's reassuringly warm to the touch. Somehow I get the feeling that the one in the painting would be ice cold. This portrait of a Gumiho leaves me conflicted. There's the same longing I felt looking at the painting of the forest, but those claws and the blood, and those feel foreign and detached. Is this how most people view Gumiho? It would explain the fear and terror that seemed to follow me whenever I went when I was younger. The curses and threats from farmers and townsfolk whenever they saw me. It wasn't until after the war, when the fable became more common in human lands, that I felt comfortable without my ears and tails hidden. Even then, I'd sometimes get dirty looks just for existing. The threats were usually reserved for when I got caught stealing. Still, I've never been like the Gumiho in the painting. Stealing is one thing, but hurting someone? That just isn't me. I wish I'd been able to explain that to them. I wonder how different my life would have been. I tear my eyes away from the painting, but I know I'll be thinking about it for a long time to come. There's no point dwelling on on what could have been. I pass through the rest of the Korean exhibit quickly, barely glancing at the artifacts that I haven't seen yet. It isn't until I've nearly left the gallery that I see something that makes me pause again. In a small and unremarkable display case among many others, there are a number of delicate scrolls on each one. A few old-style Korean characters are written. I don't think they're Hangul, but I don't know what they're called. They do look familiar, though. I left my own scroll back at home for safekeeping, but I don't need it with me to compare. The sweep of the brush strokes, the shapes of the characters, the shade of the ink. Closing my eyes and breathing in deeply, I swear I can smell them. My person. I press my hand against the glass. This is the closest I've been in hundreds of years. After centuries of looking, I finally...
Hey, no touching!
I leap backward as someone shouts. I look around and see a woman wearing a badge and museum t-shirt stalking towards me angrily. The instincts I thought I'd buried kick in. It's time to run! Backing up, I look around for a getaway route, but there isn't one. I'm surrounded on almost all sides by the cases. The only open direction is the one that the attendant is approaching from. Think, Miho, think! There has to be a way out of this. Could I jump over the display? No, they're way too tall. Maybe if I transformed, I could get past the attendant. I have no idea how to navigate this building, though, and being a fox would attract way too much attention in a place like this. If I wait for them to get close, then I could probably run right past them, like the security guard when I first arrived in Wellington. Heart racing, my panic must show on my face because they stop a couple meters away from me frowning.
Hey, it's not that big a deal. Just please keep your hands off in the future.
With a shrug, they turn around and leaving me alone. That's it? My hands are shaking as I watch them retreat, expecting them to snap around and come after me. Of course that doesn't happen, and I'm very slowly able to relax. All I'm left feeling afterwards is a lot of embarrassment. Looking around me, I'm glad that there aren't many people in this area. Nobody's looking at me either, whether out of politeness or because they just didn't notice. My face is burning red, and I look down at the scrolls again just to hide it. I sigh. Maybe it was silly of me to think that I could change myself entirely in such a short time. Considering I'd just been remembering the old days and all the abuse that I went through from humans, it makes more sense. After I settle myself down a little, I turn my attention back to what's really important. While I know that these scrolls have to be from my person, they don't help me much on their own. There's a little card in one corner of the case covered in text. It might have something useful written on it, but that doesn't do me any good. I consider trying to copy it all down to have Aspen or Juliet read it to me later, but there's so many words that I'm not sure I could get them all. I go looking over at the museum attendant, who I was so scared of just a moment ago. I do have one option. Summoning all my courage, I approach them slowly. They're just a regular person, I remind myself, like Aspen or Juliet, or even like me now, just doing their job.
Excuse me?
I hope that's polite enough. As long as she looks over to me, her face doesn't look annoyed, more bored.
Can I help you?
I'm sorry for touching the glass. I was wondering if you could tell me a bit about those papers, like who wrote them.
Like I said, it's no big deal. It's just a safety precaution so nothing gets damaged. Anyway, there's an informational plaque in the corner. It should have all those details.
Would they even believe me if I said I can't read? I worry that might make me even more suspicious.
Can't see very well, and the words are so small. Can you read it for me?
Oh, sure. Let's see.
That was almost too easy. They don't question or analyze me at all, simply walking over and leaning in next to me.
Says here these were some of the first works by a calligrapher whose name was Jong-in in the 17th century. They were a scholar who lived in Korea and...
Yeah, that guy's long dead. The attendant keeps reading, but I'm not listening. I've already gotten what I came for, a name. Jong-in. For the first time, I have something to call them, something that's unmistakably theirs. I pretend to listen to the rest of what's being read out. loud and thank the person on autopilot when they're done. My head's not here in the present moment, it's back in the forest where I was born.
Chongyin.
Zhongyin. Once they've walked away, I say it out loud, trying out how it sounds. I think it fits them.
Chongyin. Chongyin.
I say it over and over again, making sure I'll never forget. Finally, I have something to go off. Feeling a little bit dazed from the enormity of the moment, I find my way downstairs and wander out of the museum. I can't wait to tell Juliet and Aspen. I'm so excited that I end up missing my turn to take me back to the library. Huh? Lost in my thoughts about what'll happen when I get there instead. Oh, okay, so just walking. I don't even realize that I've zoned out until I reach the edge of Mount Victoria, right where the city street turns into Parkland.
Oops. Good thing I can find my way back from here.
I'm still within the area that I visited before, so I'll be able to use the mountain as a landmark to find my way back. I hum to myself as I turn back, head abuzz with pleasant thoughts. If I give Juliet my person's name, I'm sure she can help me track them down. That's what she specializes in after all. And I'm sure Aspen will want to hear all about their life too. She loves stories, and I'm sure Zhongyin will have a ton. I'm not sure how they'll feel about seeing me again. I doubt they ever expected it to happen. They'll definitely be surprised that I'm not just the fox they met back then, but a person now. I have a feeling they'll at least be as glad as I am. I'm maybe halfway home before I realize that I'm not alone. The prickling sensation on the back of my neck is unmistakable. My instincts are telling me that someone else is nearby. I'm still near the mountain, but it's practically empty here. I can hear the sound of other people in the distance, but they're all hidden by the trees and hills. I whip my head back and forth, but try as I might, I can't work out where they are. It's a strange, disconcerting feeling, given how easily I can pick up even the smallest animals. Then, from the corner of my eye, I spot a bush, slightly shuffling. Just as I turn to take a proper look, the silver fox I saw the other day steps out of it.
Oh, it's just you.
I start to bend down and reach out a hand like I would to pet a dog, but hesitate. I know from experience what a fox wouldn't respond to that. I'm surprised she hasn't run away already. That's what I would have done. She stares at me without the slightest movement, her eyes locked on mine. My heart jumps as their hairs on the back of my neck stand up. Something is off. Then, without taking her eyes off me, she starts to transform. I barely have time to be shocked as her arms and legs get longer and her fur retracts, head shrinking and changing into something more human-like. For the first time in my life, I'm face to face with another Gumiho. My throat tightens and goes dry. My vision narrows. My ears start ringing in shock. It's as if all the world has fallen away except for me and her. The silver and black clothes she's wearing seem to shimmer in the moonlight, like the skin of a snake waiting to strike. Hanging loosely on her frame, the wrapped fabrics around her body and face make her appear almost formless. Her only accessory is a bracelet around her wrist. It's a plain leather band, but a shining white bead is held in the middle by another loop of leather. I recognize that bead. I have one just like it. Well, almost like it. Whereas mine is a duller, milky color, hers is so bright that it almost hurts to look at. The soft blue glow around it reminds me of the full moon. It's almost like she stepped out of the painting I just saw at the museum. A shawl covers most of her face, but her hair and eyes are still visible, those intense eyes. Her gaze reminds me of steel. While they're the same shape as mine, they're sharper and angrier. Crueler. She hotly tosses her long, flowing hair back as she takes a step towards me. I skip back, keeping the distance between us. When I lived in the forest, I knew to flee when I met a predator stronger than I was. Better to get away alive than risk my life for pride. My survival instinct tells me that this is one of those times. The other Gumiho laughs, but there's no humor in it. Sharp and hollow, it only makes me more uneasy.
So, the human pet still knows when to run. The human... what? Pet. I've been watching you for a while. Ever since you came to this place, actually.
Is this just the same voice actress?
Watched you demean. When you first
Oh shit,
arrived,
my cat just hit
I
the...
was hopeful that we might be alike.
My cat hit my mouse button
Optimistic
and
even.
skipped the dialogue.
I was a fool.
Uh...
Pet. I've been watching you for a while. Ever since you came to this place, actually. Watched you demean and domesticate yourself for the sake of humans. It's pathetic. When you first arrived, I was hopeful that we might be alike. Optimistic, even. I was a fool. I see you now for what you are. Nothing better than a dog, begging for its master's affection and table scraps. We are not the same. We are nothing alike.
Okay, edgelord. Her words hang in the air, poisoning my good mood from just moments ago. My first instinct is to run away as usual. Something stops me though. I'm entranced. The novelty of this experience, of finally meeting another Gumiho, keeps me rooted in place despite my fear. No matter what she's like, this is the closest I've ever been to someone like me. I swallow the lump in my throat and hope that my voice doesn't shake as much as I think it will.
So what? Did you ambush me just to say that? Ambush? You should have known weeks ago that I was following you. But I repeat myself. You've numbed yourself to your instincts. And your potential. I saw you in that place of memories. Saw you gaze upon the portrait of one of our sisters. I hoped that you would open your eyes, as you haven't before. It pains me to see your existence do disservice to our very kind. Now that you have seen what you could and should be, perhaps you can still change yourself, dog. Sharpen your teeth and claws once more. These creatures that you bind yourself to, those human and those not, they are but shackles, slowly squeezing away at which is wild and free in you. Do not mistake my words for sympathy or pity. I would see you gone from this place. But so long as you remain, your presence is an eyesore. It pains me to witness. Thus, I will do what I must to cure it, as unpleasant a task as it may be. You will never be one of them, no matter how much you might crave it. Better to embrace what you are and can be. Anything else is a waste of your abilities.
She studies me for a moment longer and then turns away. I feel like I should say something, but I can't find the words. Whether from shock or fear, I'm too dazed to so much as stammer out a denial. Her clothes melt away into silver fur as she transforms back into a fox. I reach out to stop her, but she flits off and disappears into the darkness without a moment's hesitation. The world around me rushes back in, my skin suddenly feeling cold in the night air. The rush of emotions going through my head evaporates, and the adrenaline that was running through me ebbs away. I'm left just standing there, alone. Closing my eyes, I muster the strength that I haven't tapped into weeks. My bead warms itself as I transform, my body following the same motion as the other Gumihos. I try to start chasing her, but my first steps on 4 legs are shaky. I have grown unfamiliar with this form, almost stumbling over just trying to move. Maybe there's a bit of truth in what she said. I take a few more steps towards the brush, but soon give up. Even if I caught up with her, what would I say? What would I do? I would only make a fool of myself. There's a scent on the wind that I couldn't notice as a human, but is unmissable as a fox. I recognized it immediately, from a long time ago, on one of my first mornings here. When I first woke up from my den near the mountain and stepped outside, I knew that someone had been there. It was her. She really was following me from the beginning. For a long moment, I watched the place where she disappeared, then I transformed back. I don't really feel like a fox right now. I don't know what I'm feeling. Some of what she has said is true. I haven't used any of my talents in a long time. My clumsiness when I'm in my fox form, my original body, is a reminder of that. But as for degrading myself for the sake of others, that doesn't feel true. I've spent my entire life living free and for only myself. It's always been my choice to remain here and to not be forgotten. So why do her words sting so much? If I was totally confident in my decision, then they shouldn't bother me, right? Maybe I've forgotten more of myself than I know. The painting at the museum and the other Gumiho herself both prove that there's something different about me. Something that must come easily to everyone else. The same way all the aspects of daily life at home don't come easily to me either. I feel disconnected, torn between two worlds that I barely know, but can't help being drawn to. Where do I fit in? Where do I belong? I know what Juliet and Aspen would say, but does that make it true? Their home hasn't been my home for long. I've been a thief and a liar for so much longer than I've been whatever I am now. Without anything else to gain out here, I slowly start to make my way back home again. The excitement I felt about telling Juliet and Aspen everything I found at the museum has vanished. I'll have to wait for another time. After a quiet walk through the empty streets to the library, I quietly slink inside, trying to keep Juliet from noticing. I just don't feel like talking right now. It seems to work. I can hear her bustling around somewhere, but she doesn't call out to me when I come in. Without a word, I ascend the stairs to my room as quickly and quietly as I can and climb under the covers. It's far too early to go to bed, but I don't know what else to do. If I'm awake, my thoughts will only be a bother. Better to sleep it off and hope that I feel better in the morning. Yesterday's events, both the good and bad, linger in my mind while I perform my usual routine of tossing and turning in bed before I get up. Now that the shock's worn off, I feel a little better about what's happened. I wonder if I'll have forgotten all about the other Gumiho by the end of today. In fact, now that I think about it, it's possible I had met other Gumiho before and just forgot about them. Everyone forgets meeting me, so maybe it works in reverse too. Rather than dwell on the idea, I choose to ignore it. There's no way to know. I just drive myself crazy wondering. Instead, I keep myself busy by making myself more presentable for work. Heading into the bathroom, I clean myself up using the soaps and shampoos given to me by Juliet. She's helped me so much ever since I started working here. Looking into the mirror for one final check before I head downstairs for breakfast, I can't help but think of what the other Gumiho said. How I've domesticated myself. My spotless face looks back at me, framed by fluffy and pampered hair. I can't deny that I've let myself be spoiled by others, content to just go along for the ride.
Snap out of it, Miho.
I lightly pat my face like I've seen Aspen do sometimes when she's getting ready to start her own job. I'm not sure what it's supposed to accomplish, but it makes me feel a bit more confident. Heading downstairs, I'm treated to the familiar scent of fresh cut fruit and frying eggs, as well as the pleasant sound of Aspen and Juliet chatting about books. When I enter the kitchen, I'm greeted with two smiles.
Morning, Miho.
Good morning.
Good morning. Breakfast will be ready soon.
Cool.
I slide into my usual spot at the table and grab some apple slices, munching on those while waiting for the other two to go back to their conversation. Instead, both of them look at me expectantly.
So, how'd it go?
The museum?
Of course. What else? Was everything all right? When I didn't hear from you last night, I was fearing the worst.
Oh, nah. It was fine. They even had what I was looking for. There were some more scrolls by my person.
There's a loud clatter as Aspen drops her fork in surprise. Even Juliet's eyes go wide with genuine shock.
There were?
Are you sure it was them?
Yep, definitely. I'd recognize that style anywhere. I learned a lot about them. Their name is Tongyin, and they're a scholar. I don't know what they study though. The museum person didn't say.
For a long moment, there's silence, other than the sound of eggs sizzling in the pan. Both my friends just stare at me, dumbstruck.
What are those looks for?
You seem awfully calm. I assumed you must not have found anything, or you'd have been back immediately.
Yeah, well, there was some other stuff that happened too. I'll tell you about it some other time.
It's tempting to tell them about the Gumiho, if only because I know they'd reassure me about everything she'd said. But that's why I can't tell them, not yet in a way. I'd just be proving her right. Aww.
Well, all right.
Living rent-free.
We'll be here whenever you need us.
Thanks. Is breakfast ready?
Yes, just now. Here you go.
Juliet fills our plates and takes her seat, and we all dig in. It's a quieter meal than usual, with only the sounds of chewing and silverware scraping against the dishes. I feel like Aspen and Juliet are having a conversation in their silence. Of course they'd expect more from me. I'd expect more from me too. And right after leaving the museum, I was that excited. I am still excited, of course, it's just been tempered a little. I still plan to ask Aspen and Juliet to help me get in touch with Junyin, but I want to wait until I can do it with a clear head. Once everyone's finished eating, I gather up the dirty dishes and take them to the sink, while Juliet washes the pans and Aspen wipes down the tables. Another routine morning.
I'll see you two later. Thanks for breakfast.
My pleasure, as always.
Bye!
With that, Aspen politely takes her leave and heads out the door. Juliet and I then go to the library, ready to start the day, or end it. In her case, I head to my spot behind the front door and begin getting everything ready. The checkout sheets, my pens and pencils, my study materials, and so on.
Are you all set, Miho?
Yep. I've got everything I need.
Wonderful. Well, I'll leave you to it then. Have a good day.
You too. Sleep well.
From the way Juliet lingers halfway between me and the stairs, I can tell she wants to say or ask something else. She thinks better of it, simply giving me a smile before heading up to her room. I whistle while I throw open the curtains and unlock the door. By the time I've returned to the counter, ready for the first patrons to arrive, I even manage a light melody. I've been practicing my whistling a lot lately, as a way to spend time while alone. Aspen tried to show me how, but she's not very good at it either. I'm pretty sure I'm already better than she is. The sound of it reminds me of the birds back in my home forest. Before long, patrons start to arrive, and I soon have a list of things to do. Books to check in and out, and books to return, books to search for. It keeps me going good and busy. The hours pass by in blissful normalness, and I don't have a single thing to complain about. Oh my god. Okay. Do we want to bother Lena again? Or I don't know, we can go to the Bell House. Maybe Aspen is there? But her icon isn't there. We can check. Something feels weird in the Bell House today, but I can't quite put my finger on it. What could it be? Did they redecorate? Is there someone watching me? Is there a gas leak? Wait, I think I got it. All the other patrons are reading books, like proper paper books, not just fake books on their computers. The covers are all the same style, so it occurs to me that maybe these are all students doing assigned readings or cramming for a test. Phew, I'm so glad I don't have to go to school. Still though, being the only person without a book is making me feel kind of left out. Maybe I'll go hold a book for a while at the library to feel better. It's a rainy Thursday morning and the library is as dead as I've ever seen it. Even Aspen didn't come by this morning simply because she didn't want to get soaked. We'll see each other later instead. The only patrons here are the ones who don't mind the weather, so I have to make sure they don't drip on any of the books. Before she went to bed for the day, Juliet left a bundle of towels near the door for anyone who needs one. At least it makes my work easier, and the slow day means I have extra time to study. I'm able to remember most of the letters by now, and even read a few words. I haven't told Juliet or Aspen about my progress because I want to surprise them with it later. After an hour or so, I set aside my pencil and gaze out the window with my chin resting on my palm.
Huh. It stopped.
It's still cloudy outside, but the worst of the rain seems to be over. I get up and walk to the window, looking around at the soggy view. I leap backwards in surprise as something suddenly splats against the glass in front of my face. In front of me. At first it looks like a puddle of water that's stuck to the window, but then it starts to wiggle. I stare in confusion as a pitiful face forms in its middle, then frowns at me. Suddenly, it hits me what I'm looking at. This must be a water elemental. I've never seen one for myself before now. They usually hang out in rivers or lakes, but I've heard they'll sometimes come out onto dry land when it's rainy. That must be what this one did. Now that it stopped raining though.
Oh no, you could dry up.
Just like a fire elemental can die if its flames go out, a water elemental like this could be in trouble. If it doesn't stay wet, the weather might still be damp, but the sun is starting to poke through the clouds.
Okay. Wait right there. I'll go find something.
It looks so sad. I don't know if it can understand me or even hear at all, but I wave out the window and hold up one finger to try to show that I'll be right back. After a quick peek to make sure there's no patrons waiting, I hurry to the kitchen and dig through the cabinets, hoping to find a pot or something that's big enough. The biggest one Juliet has is the one that she used to make pasta, and even that might be too small. Plus, I'm not sure she'd want to taste the water elemental to be there every time she tries to make spaghetti.
Where else?
I could just wake Juliet up and ask her, but I should really try to solve this myself before bothering her. Instead, I start hunting through the other rooms for something that might help. There's nothing in the bathroom nor in the library area. When I check in the dining room a second time, however, I notice a big bowl on top of a shelf that I hadn't seen before.
Perfect.
I have to stand on one of the chairs to reach it, but I grab the bowl and fill it half full with tap water before hurrying back to the window. The elemental is stuck there like a very sad bumper sticker. It looks a little smaller, but it ripples with excitement when it sees me, its frown shifting into a watery smile. I head out the front door and skip around to the window, squelching through the wet grass as I
Here you
go.
Come on.
Holding the bowl up to the window, I gently brush the elemental in. To my surprise, it doesn't feel like touching regular water. Instead, it's thicker and a bit sticky, like jelly. The elemental starts to slide into the bowl and bubbles, which I hope is a good sign. It doesn't mix with the water in the bowl, but instead it kind of hovers, with water above and below it. When it gets itself fully into the bowl, it almost fills it up. The water sloshes over the edge onto my hands, leaving the bowl almost dry except for the elemental itself. The bubbles stop and an uncertain-looking face peers at me from the bottom.
Alright. Let's get you inside and figure something else out.
I hold the bowl as steady as I can. I try not to spill any more as I go back into the library. Just like the guests at the library, I have to make sure not to get any books wet. There's an empty side table near one of the reading chairs, so I set the bowl right down there. The elemental seems fine for now, but it looks worried again. It reminds me a lot of Aspen.
I'm not sure what else to try.
I rack my brains trying to think of something I might have missed in the bathroom or kitchen.
Wait! That bathroom! That's it!
Kneeling down in front of the bowl, I try to reassure the elemental, which is doing its best to stay absolutely still and not slosh.
Okay, don't go anywhere. If you even can.
Running to the bathroom, I plug up the bath and set the faucet to max.
This ought to work for a bit.
Leaving the water running, I go back and retrieve the bowled elemental. This time I end up spilling more of the water, but luckily it only hits the ground. The tub is about half full by the time we get back, which should be perfect. I turn off the faucet and carefully pour the elemental in.
How's that?
There is a stream of excited bubbles.
Cool. Sit tight, and I'll find something we can use to get you back to the river.
More bubbles. Quickly, but not as big as the rush before, I go to resume my search on the second floor. Because this place is so big, there are still a few rooms that I've never seen. I'm pretty sure Juliet wouldn't mind me going in since I'm trying to help someone out. The first room that I try is a closet filled with towels and bedsheets and laundry stuff. The room after that is locked.
That's weird.
I try the knob again in case it was just stuck.
Nope, definitely locked.
I wonder what's in there. I've never paid much attention to that door before since it's so far from my room. I drop to all fours and try to see under the door, but it's too narrow to see anything. Another nearby door isn't locked, and even better, is in a closet. Aside from the doorway, which isn't particularly bright, it's pitch black when I step inside. I flick on the light switch, but the bulb fizzles and dies right away. It only takes a moment for my eyes to adjust to the darkness, and what had at the first just been dark smudges turned out to be a bunch of boxes, assorted junk, a storage room. The whole place is covered in dust. I guess Juliet doesn't come in here either. Peeking into one of the boxes, it's filled with old kid toys, like dolls and stuffed animals. Another one has some folded up clothes. Just as I'm about to give up and try another room, a half-covered object in the corner catches my eye. A heavy blanket is draped over a glass box, which is full of more random junk. I haul it all out and remove the blanket, smiling at my find. It's a big fish tank, just like the ones I saw at the museum.
Score!
After turning it over to shake out as much of the dust and debris as I can, I triumphantly take the tank to the kitchen sink to rinse it out before hauling it to the bathroom.
Look what I found.
When I set the tank on the edge of the tub, the elemental floats up to the top of the bath and ripples. It takes some maneuvering to hold the tank under the faucet, but eventually I'm able to figure it out and fill it up. Then I use the bowl from before to scoop up the elemental and dump it into the tank.
Perfect, right?
More ripples and bubbles.
Okay, let's get you to the river.
I wrap my arms around the fish tank and lift. And nearly tear my arm off.
That's heavy.
Yeah, it's water, honey. I didn't notice when I was just getting the tank set up, but with all the water in it, it weighs a ton. It's way too heavy for me to carry to the front door, much less all the way to the river.
This could be a problem.
It had seemed so perfect, so lucky. Even after dumping out some of the water, I still can't carry it. Sitting down on the tile floor, I sigh. The elemental floats dejectedly.
Miho? What's going on? I heard the sinks and bathtub running.
Juliet is standing in the doorway as I look up, wearing a look of concern on her face.
Hey! It was raining earlier, right? Well, there was this water elemental on the window. I tried to bring it inside so it wouldn't dry up while I worked out how to get it back to the river, but now I can't carry this huge fish tank that I found.
A fish tank? Where'd that come from?
It was in one of the storage rooms, along with a bunch of kids' stuff. I'm guessing they came from the library's children's section.
Juliet purses her lips and I feel my heartbeat start to quicken like it always does when I'm in trouble.
Sorry if you didn't want me to go in there. I didn't know what that room was or what I was even looking for until I found the tank. I didn't look inside the locked room, though.
Juliet's frown deepens, but it doesn't look like she's angry. More like she's sad.
No need to apologize. You've done nothing wrong. Although...
I wait for her to finish her sentence, but it doesn't happen.
Although?
Never mind. It's nothing. Let's focus on helping our friend here first.
She reaches into the tank and scoops a handful of the water before dripping it back onto the floating elemental. The creature seems to enjoy it, as far as I can tell.
Any ideas?
An idea comes to mind after you mentioned that storage room. I'll be right back.
Probably like a trolley, right? To move the fish tank. I sit back and relax as Juliet departs. I'm glad she didn't get upset after all, but something was definitely bugging her. I wonder what it was. After a couple minutes, I pick up the sound of something rolling down the stairs. I stand up and poke my head out the door and spot Juliet pulling a red wagon behind her. It has a rope handle and isn't very large, but should have more than enough space for the tank.
Whoa, you're a genius!
With a smile, Juliet parks the wagon next to the bathtub.
As I said, you were the one who gave me the idea. Would you mind helping me lift it onto the wagon?
Sure.
We each take one end and carefully move the tank. Juliet also brought a number of tight straps to help keep it in place. Once it's all set up, the elemental is safe and secure. I kneel down to get my face level with the glass.
How do you like that?
This time, the elemental shifts into the biggest grin I've seen. Oh.
Looks like we've got a winner.
Wonderful. If I watch the library, would you mind taking it back home? You're welcome to borrow an umbrella.
No problem. Be back soon.
Taking a towel and umbrella for myself from the front door, I lead the elemental outside and onto the path.